Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a very powerful exercise for you that is designed for assisting you in creating your imaginal acts at night. If you're having any issues visualizing or putting your imaginal acts together in any way, this technique is very powerful and it walks you through step by step and gives you practical examples, 4 different examples, actually from the 4 mighty ones, which is the producer, the author, the director, and the actor. And I'm going to break all that down for you. This is out of Seed Time and Harvest from Neville Goddard. It's very powerful, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. Right now, let's go. The 4 Mighty Ones by Neville Goddard from Seed Time and Harvest. This is a technique to assist you in creating or visualizing your imaginal acts. Whatever it is, if you're having any difficulty visualizing or creating your imaginal acts specifically, this is going to help you. This is a very powerful technique, and Neville Goddard actually gives his own testimonial, which I'm going to cover that at the end of this video. And we're going to go over that because I really appreciate his testimonials because they're so powerful. And I've actually used this technique myself many times, and it's worked for me, and it's really powerful. I love the way that he puts all 4 of these mighty ones together. So let's go ahead and break this down and get right into this. The producer, the author, the director, and the actor. Those are the 4 mighty ones we're going to cover. Okay, so we can best understand the 4 mighty ones by comparing them to the 4 most important characters in the production of a play. They're right here. The producer, the author, the director, and the actor. Okay, so in the drama of life, the producer's function is to suggest the theme. So that's the first thing you do. You need to figure out the theme. You need to suggest the theme in your imaginal act. So what is it going to be? And he gives you some examples here. This he does in the form of a wish, okay? Such as, I wish I were successful, but you need more detail than that, of course. I wish I could take a trip. I wish I were married, and so on. But to appear on the world stage, these general themes must somehow be specified, okay? Specified and worked out in detail. It is not enough to say, I wish I were successful. You need to create a whole theme that's surrounded by that, okay? That is specific, okay? So successful at what? So it gives you an example. Successful at what? What do you want to be successful as? So that's the theme you want to create specific. Like if you wanted to be a successful movie star, for example, where you're a multi-millionaire, or a successful entrepreneur, or a successful businessman or a woman, anything like that. It doesn't matter what it is, but you need to be specific. Successful at what? Okay, so get specific when you do the first stage. Okay, so that's the first thing. You want to create a theme. That's the first mighty one. However, the first mighty one only suggests a theme. That's the only thing the first mighty one does, is to suggest a theme. Then you move on to the next. The dramatization of the theme is left to the originality of the second mighty one, which is the author. Okay, so your second mighty one. In dramatizing the theme, the author writes only the last scene of the play. Okay, so just like when you're creating your imaginal acts, you're creating just the end of the movie where the guy gets the girl, or the girl gets the guy. The end of the movie where he wins, or he wins the football game, or he wins the sports match, or he gets the trophy, or he gets the $1 million, whatever it is. The end of that movie. Okay, so the end of it. That's what you want to create for yourself. Is the end when you have what your desire is accomplished. Okay, so you have the money and you have the relationship now. So that's what you want to do. You want the dramatization of the theme. The author writes only the last scene of the play, but this scene he writes in detail. Basically, the scene must dramatize the wish fulfilled. Okay, so whatever your desired result is. So he mentally constructs as lifelike a scene as possible of what he would experience had he realized his wish. When the scene is clearly visualized, the author's work is done. That's the only thing the second mighty one does, which is the author, is he writes the scene, the dramatized wish fulfilled. Okay, so he writes that, then you move on to the third. The third mighty one is the production of life's play, is the director. Okay, so let's do that again. The third mighty one in the production of life's play is the director. So this is the director, the third mighty one. The director's tasks are to see that the actor remains faithful to the script. So you can kind of equate the director to being your discipline, is disciplining. You're the director, so you can look at your imaginal acts that way, as they're separate. So you have the actor and the director. The director pushes the actor. Like if you ever seen, a movie like behind the scenes, the way the director's always, nope, we're redoing it. Nope, do it again. Nope, cut. That's it. Nope. Okay, that's good. Keep doing it. Keep running him through the actual movie, the play. You're running him through the play until he gets it right. So you're the director now, okay? So you're rehearsing this. You rehearse the actor over and over again. Okay, and the director's tasks are to see that the actor remains faithful to the script and to rehearse him over and over again until he is natural in the part. That's the part I really, really like about this technique, is you can look at it that way, that you're the director, you're pushing yourself with discipline to keep rehearsing the act over and over till it becomes real to you and hardens into a fact, basically, and you create it so real that it comes true in your 3D world. Okay, so this function may be likened to a controlled and consciously directed attention. Just like that. This is basically what I was saying. Discipline. An attention focused exclusively on the action, which implies that the wish is already fulfilled. Okay, so the form of the fourth is like the Son of God, human imagination, the actor, okay? This may be the most important one. It's the fourth part, okay? The fourth mighty one performs within himself, within your imagination. In imagination, the predetermined action, which implies the fulfillment of the wish, okay? So, which implies the fulfillment of the wish. This function does not visualize or observe the action. This function does not visualize or observe the action. This function actually enacts the drama. So first person, okay? So you don't visualize or observe this action. You're actually in it. You are the actor in the movie. So this actually helps you take your visual scenes or your imaginal acts to the next level, because a lot of people have the problem with the third person and the first person, thinking of it, not from it. This puts you thinking from it. You're in it. You're actually in the movie. Okay, this function does not visualize or observe the action. This function actually enacts the drama and does it over and over again until it takes on the tones of reality. Without the dramatized vision of the fulfilled desire, the theme remains a mere theme and sleeps forever in the vast chambers of unborn themes. So if you're not doing it right, if you're not thinking from it and you're thinking of it, then it sleeps forever in the vast chambers of unborn themes. Nor without the cooperant attention, we come back to attention again. You got to have the muscle of the mind to be able to rehearse your actor as the director, rehearsing the actor over and over and over and over and over, obedient to the dramatized vision of fulfilled desire. Will the vision perceived attain objective reality? The four mighty ones are the four quarters of the human soul. The first is Jehovah's King, who suggests a theme. The second is Jehovah's servant, who faithfully works out the theme in a dramatic vision. The third is Jehovah's man, who was attentive and obedient to the vision of fulfilled desire, who brings the wandering imagination back to the script. Right there, that's the director, who brings the wandering imagination back to the script 70 times 7, like the Bible said. The form of the fourth is Jehovah himself, who enacted the dramatized theme on the stage of the mind. Okay, so Neville's own personal testimonial on using the four mighty ones technique is right here. This is actually Neville Goddard's testimonial himself. It's one of my favorite stories by him, actually. I love this one. Okay, so in January of 1946, I took my wife and little daughter to Barbados in the British West Indies for a holiday, not knowing there were any difficulties in getting a return passage. I had not booked ours before leaving New York. Upon our arrival in Barbados, I discovered that there were only two ships serving the islands, one from Boston and one from New York. I was told there was no available space on either ship before September, as I had commitments in New York for the first time in May. I put my name on the waiting list for the April sailing. A few days later, the ship from New York was anchored in the harbor. I observed it very carefully and decided that this was the ship we would take. He decided that was a ship he was going to take. So I returned to my hotel and determined on an interaction. So he went and looked at the ship. He knew. He looked at it and said, because he believes, Neville Goddard absolutely believes that imagination creates reality. So whatever he wants, he will create it. So he looked at that ship and he said, that's the one. And then he went and returned to his hotel, determined on an interaction that would be mine, where we actually sailing on that ship. I settled down in an easy chair in my bedroom to lose myself in this imagination or imaginative action. In Barbados, we take a motor launch or rowboat out into the deep harbor when we embark on a large steamer. I knew I must catch the feeling that we were sailing on that ship. So he figured out exactly what the feeling was that he needed to capture to impress the subconscious mind in the state akin to sleep. Okay, so that's what he did. I chose the interaction of stepping from the tender and climbing up the gangplank of the steamer. The first time I tried, my attention wandered after I had reached the top of the gangplank. his mind wandered. Okay, so his mind was even wandering. Even Neville Goddard's mind wanders a little bit. All right, so your mind wanders, you bring it back, then you redo it, kind of like climbing the ladder, up and down, up and down. You're climbing the ladder just like the gangplank. I brought myself back down and tried it again. Okay, so the director, his director in his mind, he used the third mighty one, was pushing the actor. Redo it. No, that's not good enough. Your mind wandered. Bring it back, do it again. Bring it back, do it again. Okay, so I brought myself back down and tried again and again. I do not recall how many times I carried out this action in my imagination until I reached the deck and looked back at the port with the feeling of sweet sadness at departing. I was happy to be returning to my home in New York, but nostalgic in saying goodbye to the lovely island and our family and friends. I do recall that in one of my many attempts at walking up the gangplank, in the feeling that I was sailing, and he fell asleep. That was it. The feeling that he was sailing. That's what he captured and impressed the subconscious mind with right there. He impressed the feeling that he was sailing. Then he fell asleep. After I awoke, I went about the usual social activities of the day. So he just let it go, knew it was going to happen. And in the evening, the following morning, I received a call from the steamship, a company requesting me to come down to their office and pick up our tickets for the April sailing. I was curious to why Barbados had been chosen to receive the cancellation and why I, at the end of the long waiting list, was to have the reservation. But all the agent could tell me was that a cable had been received that morning from the New York offering passage for 3. I was not the first the agent had called, but for reasons she could not explain, those she had called said that now they had found it inconvenient to sail in April. Inconvenient, yeah. Okay, so we sailed on April 20th and arrived in New York on the morning of May the 1st. So basically, he created that, and all these other people that were actually on that list that were before him all of a sudden found it inconvenient to sail on that day. So they moved him right. He went right down the list, and they chose him. They called him and said, "You got it." Okay, so that happened because of his impressing the subconscious mind with the feeling of sailing. So other things had to happen in the 3D world for that to be accomplished, that desired result that he had impressed the subconscious mind with. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a quick recap of the video, the 4 mighty ones. Break this down before we end this video really quickly here. All right, so the first mighty one only suggests a theme. The second mighty one, the author, in dramatizing the theme, the author writes only the last scene of the play, but he writes it in detail. Okay, so then you got the third mighty one. The third mighty one is in the production of life's play is the director. The director's tasks are to see that the actor remains faithful, disciplined, rehearse the actor over and over and over again. Okay, so the fourth mighty one is the actor himself, which performs it in the first person, not the third person. You're actually the actor in the movie. Okay, so you're not observing yourself at a distance. You're actually in the movie. You're thinking from it in the first person. Okay, you're in it. You're in it. That's very important. That's why this technique is so powerful. This is going to help you get to that next level of actually creating things and actually thinking from it and not of it, which only like about 1 out of a million really know how to do. All right, guys. Love you guys very much, and I appreciate you guys loving this video, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And give me one thing you guys are grateful for. I appreciate it. Thank you.